It's a short routine for you that you can practice after a leg day at the gym or any other time you're feeling a bit tight and stiff in the lower body. Need a couple of props, a strap or a belt or a t-shirt or something similar. Maybe a couple of blocks or maybe a couple of sturdy books that we can bring our hands onto, but that's not essential. So we're going to make a start on our backs. Grab your strap or your belt or your towel or t-shirt, whatever you've got. Come down onto your back, and we're just going to take the strap around the arch of the right foot. And if it feels all right on your lower back, then straighten your left leg long on the ground. So we're going to straighten the right leg forward, take a bit of strap in each hand, and then just start to guide the right leg up in towards you until you feel a comfortable stretch on the back of the right leg. So depending on your flexibility, will depend on how far your leg will lift. So if you're feeling quite tight, your leg might be a little bit lower down here, but see where you get to. Maybe you'll wrap the strap around the hands a couple of times to give you a little bit more space. Let the shoulders relax down. And we're just going to take 5 slow, steady breaths. So just settling into the feeling of that stretch. If you want to target the calf muscles a little bit more here, you can start to pull the toes back towards the shins. See how that feels. Breathing into that feeling of the stretch. Good. So see if you can keep the face relaxed and the jaw soft. And then nice and slowly just easing off that stretch. Then we're going to bring the strap into the right hand only. We're going to take the left hand and anchor the left hip down towards the ground. And then nice and slowly just opening the right leg out to the right side. Again, just until it stops, trying not to let that left side of the hip lift away from the ground. So back of the pelvis is anchoring down into the ground. So don't worry about how far you go. Just feel a stretch and come to a place where you can hold it for 5 slow, steady breaths. So we're going to aim to hold each stretch for roughly 30 seconds, just using the breath to settle into the position, easing into it. So trying not to fight anything here. If you start to feel like you're fighting against the stretch, just come up a little bit higher, come out of the pose slightly and just find a more comfortable place. And then a nice big inhalation. We're going to lift the right leg up, switching sides. So taking the left hand on the strap. I'm going to bring my right arm into a cactus position, or you can bring the hand out wide, whatever feels more comfortable in your shoulder. And then start to let that right leg just gently guide across towards the left side. Again, you're not going to let that hip lift away from the ground. You're keeping the back of the pelvis down on the floor. So you might only go a tiny, tiny distance here, but don't worry about how far you go. You're just aiming to feel a stretch and be semi-comfortable in the position. So your legs have already worked really hard. So we're just trying to get everything nice and loose and stretched. Good. So taking a couple more breaths here. And then nice and slowly start to lift the leg up, bend the knee, and we're going to switch legs. So taking the left foot in the strap, right leg straight on the floor if that feels all right in your lower back. If you've got any lower back niggles, you can bend the knee, bring that right foot down on the ground. So again, straightening the leg as much as you can, and then guiding the leg in towards you using the hands and the belt to do the moving, and then just coming forward until you stop. So again, letting the shoulders relax down, softening through the face and the jaw. Just having a play with the position of that left foot, just to target where you need to target in your body today. And then take some slow, steady, easy breaths. Maybe making your exhalation slightly longer than your inhalation. Yielding into the stretch with every breath. Good. Take one more breath. And then coming off the stretch, switching the hands. So taking the left hand on the belt, Right hand anchoring down through the top of the right hip, and then letting that left leg just gently open out to the left side until you feel a nice comfortable stretch on the inner thigh. And then again, breathing into it. So again, trying to relax the shoulders. Notice how that feels in your body today. Making any adjustments you need to feel comfortable here. Okay, take one more breath. And then slowly guide the leg back up. Switching hands, so taking the right hand on the strap. Again, you can cactus the left arm, so elbow bent with the back of the hand to the ground, or you can stretch that arm out long and then gently guiding the leg over towards the right side. Again, just finding a comfortable position and trying to anchor down through the back of the hip. Slow, steady breath. It can feel quite deep, this position, so just see how it feels. Too much, just ease out. And just imagine you're directing your exhalation to where you feel the stretch and just softening into that feeling slightly. Okay, so slowly lift the left leg up, bend the knee, release your strap, pop that to one side. Now we're going to bring the soles of the feet down onto the ground, knees are bent. I'm going to take the left ankle and cross it on top of the right knee. So you're just going to gently guide that left knee away from you actively, so pressing the knee open and then lifting the right leg up towards you. If you can, you're going to feed your hands behind the back of your right thigh. If the hands don't quite reach, then you can use your belt again behind the back of the thigh here. So gently guiding the leg in with the hands or the belt. And then just creating a tiny bit of resistance back with the left ankle into the right knee. Again, keeping the shoulders relaxed. So just stretching a little bit more into the outer hip here on that left side. And again, taking 5 slow, steady breaths. Maybe making your exhalation slightly longer than your inhalation here. And again, noticing how that feels in your body today. Okay, so releasing the legs, bringing both feet down onto the ground. So same thing on the other side, so right ankle on top of the left knee. Again, you're going to actively press the right knee away from you, lifting up the left leg, either the hands or the belt behind the back of that left thigh. Gently guiding the leg in as you create a tiny bit of resistance back through the right ankle into the left knee. And again, just finding your breath. Just allowing yourself to soften into the pose. Again, imagining that exhalation traveling to the outer right hip where you can feel the stretch. Good, taking one more. Okay, so slowly release both feet down onto the ground. Just take the feet nice and wide on the mat. Maybe cactus the elbows again here. And then we're just going to windscreen wipe the knees from side to side. So let both knees drop to one side, lift the legs up, and then dropping to the opposite side. So just lifting and lowering just a few times, just getting that movement through the hips. Noticing how that feels in your body. And then draw the knees into the chest. Let's have a little squeeze. And then hands behind the knees as you rock yourself up to sitting. Okay, so we're going to sit on our bum. You can sit on a block or a cushion here if that helps you feel more comfortable. We're going to bend the right knee, and then we're going to step the right foot up and over to the outside of your left leg. So try and keep your left leg nice and active, foot flexed, pressing out through the ball of the big toe. Keep some length up through your back as you hug the right knee in towards you. So keep a nice tight grip of the knee as you start to toe heel your right foot up and away from you. So just moving the foot up and away until you feel a stretch here on the outer hip. And when you get that stretch, just sit and breathe. So again, you want to keep that lovely length up through your back, lifting through the chest, allowing the shoulders to draw down. Finding that slightly longer exhalation as you settle into the feeling of the pose. So not taking it too far, not taking it too deep. Connecting with the sensations of your body and breathing. And just let the eyes rest somewhere steadily, maybe towards the foot, as you breathe. Good, and then let that soften. Just toe heel the foot back down. Bring the right leg back over to the right side. So bending the left knee, and then the same thing, we're going to step the foot outside the right leg. Sit tall as you hug the knee in towards the chest, and then start to toe heel that left foot up and away until you start to feel that stretch through the outer left hip this time. And again, sitting tall through the spine, lengthening up through the crown of the head, letting the face feel soft and relaxed as you let your eyes rest softly, either to the foot or to the ground, as you breathe slowly and steadily. Again, just allowing yourself to settle into the feeling of that stretch. Good, so just taking a couple more. Okay, so releasing that down, walk the foot back down, bring it back over onto its own side. Okay, so we're going to spin around onto hands and knees. So coming onto all fours. So bringing yourself with your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. So have some nice pressure down through the hands, a little lift through the upper back. So feeling strong into your foundations. So we're going to bring the right knee and slide it up behind the right wrist. So coming into kind of a variation of pigeon pose, if that means anything to you. So bringing your left hand to the right foot and then grab the foot and slide, physically pull the foot up until that shin is parallel or almost parallel to the top of the mat. So we're going to keep quite high in the hips and then keeping that foot pinned down with the left hand, just gently start to lower the left hip down towards the ground and then lift the left hip up. And a couple more times. So dropping the hip down and then lifting the hip up. And again, dropping down and lifting up. Okay, we're going to hold it this time. So let the hip drop down. A little bit of downward pressure through your right shin as you breathe. So we're just again targeting more through the outer hip muscles here. If you feel like you need a little bit more, then you can start to slide your left leg back away from you as you drop the hips a little bit lower down towards the ground. But that might feel too much, so just see how that feels. Don't push past anything that doesn't feel good in your body. Good, take another breath. And then release the foot. We're going to bring ourselves back to hands and knees. So same thing on the other side. We're going to slide the left knee up to the left wrist. We're going to take the right hand and grab hold of that left foot and slide the foot up until your shin is parallel to the front of the mat. And then keeping the foot pinned down with the hand, just slowly drop your right hip down towards the floor and then gently lift it back up again. So just a few of those. So dropping the hip down, lifting up, and again drop and lift. One more time, drop and lift. Okay, holding this time, so let the hip drop down and then taking a few steady breaths. Again, if you want to go a little bit deeper, then just sliding the back leg away from you so the hips can drop a little bit lower. Another 2 breaths. Good, and then lift the hips, bring yourself back to hands and knees. Okay, so we're going to bring our right foot forward now in between the hands, so coming into a sort of a low lunge position. Blocks can be quite handy in this next little stretch. So if you've got blocks, you can use a more sturdy books. You might not need them, see how you go. So we're going to bring the fingers to the ground, or your blocks, and we're going to start to rock the hips back as this front leg begins to straighten. So just straighten the leg until it stops, lifting the toes as you do so, and then rebending at the knee. So same again, press into the foot, send the hips back, lengthen the leg, and then bend back into the knee. So again, hips back, leg lengthens, toes lift, and then bending the knee, holding it this time. So hips back, straighten through the leg until it stops, press down through this front heel, and then have the feeling of trying to pull that foot back towards you. So again, it can feel a little bit more comfortable to be a bit higher through the hands. So coming onto bricks here, if you feel like that helps you feel more comfortable. So pressing down, slightly pulling back, and breathing deeply. So really targeting through the hamstrings and the calf muscles, trying to keep a little bit of length through your upper back so you're not completely collapsing into it. Take another breath, and then rebend the knee, stepping back to all fours. Same thing on the other side, so left foot in between the hands. So just moving in and out of the pose dynamically a few times. So rocking the hips back as you straighten the leg and lift the toes, and then bending the knee, bringing the foot down to the ground. So again, rocking the hips back, straighten the leg, bend the knee, bring the toes down. And again, rock back, straighten, and bend the knee. Holding this one. So rocking back, straighten the leg, lift the toes, press through that front heel, and the feeling of trying to pull the foot back towards you is not going to go anywhere, but it's just going to create that little bit of contraction through the back of the leg. Slow, steady breath. Again, you can use your blocks under the hands if that helps you feel more comfortable. So again, really connecting with the breath, lengthening that exhalation. Good, and then rebend the knee. Bring yourself back to hands and knees. Okay, we're going to bring the right foot forward again. This time we're going to take it to the outside of the right hand. Toes are going to turn out, heel turning in. So my toes have come off the side of my mat, but my heel is still on the mat. I'm just going to shift my back knee back just a smidge so I can drop a little bit lower and heavier into my hips here. So my chest is square forward. My right knee is slightly externally rotated. I'm on the knee and the top of the back foot. If you've got any knee issues, you can pop a blanket underneath your back knee here to help you feel more comfortable. Coming into a little quad stretch if this is available to you. This is really tricky. So left hand's going to come onto the floor. Left foot is going to pick up towards your bum. See if you can reach round and catch hold of the foot with the right hand. If you can't quite reach, again, you can use your belt to catch around the foot here, or just actively keep pulling that foot in towards your bum. If you can reach, then you're just going to gently guide the foot in towards your bum and lightly press back with the foot into the hand. Keep that left hand strong into the ground. Little twist through the upper body. Good, keep the face soft and the breath steady. And then release. Bring the hands to the ground. Step your right leg back. Same thing on the other side. So left foot forward outside your left hand. Heel on the mat, toes off the mat. And then just allow the hips to drop a little bit heavy and low here. So I'm just on the tips of my fingers. I'm lengthening slightly through my upper back. And then lifting up through that right foot, right hand into the ground, twisting round, reaching with my left arm, left hand, maybe catching hold of the foot, or maybe looping a belt around your foot here. Gently guiding the foot in and creating that little bit of resistance back into the foot into the hand with the foot. Good, another couple of slow, steady breaths. And then gently release. Let's come back onto hands and knees. So knees are under the hips, wrists are under the shoulders, but now we're going to bring the hands slightly forward. So just stepping the hands forward so the wrists are forward of the shoulders here. So maybe just a couple of inches. Tuck your toes, press strongly into the hands and lift through your upper back, let the shoulder blades spread. Firm your belly and then lift the hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. So keep the knees super soft and drive the floor away with the hands. and let the head and the neck be soft and heavy between the arms. Lift your sit bones up towards the sky, and then start to press back through the knees, driving the heels in the direction of the floor. Don't worry how far they go. You might need to keep your knees super bent here, depending on how tight your legs are feeling today. So let's start to pedal the heels slightly. So let's bend one knee as the other leg starts to straighten out, and then switching sides. So come onto the toes, really stretch into the foot of that bent leg. And then again, switching, bend one knee, straighten the other. And again, bending and straightening. Good. Lift both heels, soften both knees. Start to walk your feet towards your hands. So slowly coming forward to the front of the mat. Knees can be as bent as you like. And then fold over the legs, nice soft knees. So you might want to use your bricks in this, or your blocks or your books in this next position. So we're going to lift ourselves up halfway. Again, you can keep your knees really bent here. We're going to bring the left hand with the fingertips to the floor, centered underneath the face or onto your brick. I want you to create a little bit of length through your upper back, through your spine. So you're lengthening your chest forward. We're going to start to bend the left knee, straighten the right leg as we turn towards the right, reaching the right arm up to the ceiling. So your arm can either stay extended up, or you can bring the hand to the back of the pelvis if you've got any kind of shoulder niggles in this position here. So keeping the length through your back as you turn. So this right leg is straightening as much as you can. Feeling that stretch down that right side, outer seam of the right leg. And then slowly undo. Bring the right hand down. Replace it where the left hand was. Lengthen forward with your chest. And then turn to the left, bending that right knee deeply as you stretch the left arm up to the sky, or bringing the hand to the back, lower back. Taking a couple of breaths. Keep the spine long. Good. And then nice and slowly bring that top hand down, bringing ourselves up to standing. So pressing into the feet, standing all the way up. So the next pose, we're going to use the position of our pelvis to increase the feeling of stretch. We're coming into a little hamstring stretch. So we're going to step the right leg back, not too far, and then spin the heel to the ground. So your feet are they have some space between them. They're in their own lane. We're going to turn our chest and our hips to face the front of the mat. So we're going to bring the hands onto the waist. We're going to soften the left knee. We're going to start to hinge forward from the hips. So we're going to lightly rest the hands on top of that left thigh. So as you exhale, I want you to start to straighten that left leg until it stops. And at the same time, you're sticking your bum in the air. So you're tilting your pelvis as if you're trying to arch your lower back. That's just creating a little bit more length through the back of that left leg. And then as you inhale, we're going to soften the left knee and untilt the pelvis. So straighten the leg, lift your bum in the air, feel that stretch through the back of the leg, and then re-bend at the knees, soften. One more time, straighten the leg, lift your bum in the air, and then re-bend the knee. Okay, we're going to hold this one. So straighten the leg, tilt your pelvis as if you're sticking your bum nice and high in the air, and we're going to hold for 5 breaths. That's 1. Keep your feet strong into the floor. 2, 3, so you're just resting lightly on this thigh with the hands. 4, and 1 more. 5, soften the knee. Inhale, slowly stand. Okay, we're going to step the right foot forward and then step the left leg back. Again, nice short stride. Come down onto the heel, and then we're going to square forward towards the front of the mat. Soften the right knee as we fold forward and bring the hands onto the thigh. So same thing, as you exhale, straighten your front leg until it stops, and at the same time, lift your bum in the air until it stops. And then inhale, soften the knee, and let all that go. A couple more times. So straighten the leg, lift your bum, and then inhale, soften. And again, straighten and lift. Inhale, soften. And we're going to hold. So straighten the front leg, lift your bum in the air, and then again, we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Soften the knee. Stand all the way up and then step to the front of the mat. Okay, so we're going to step the feet nice and wide now. So facing the long side of your mat, bring your feet wide and parallel. Hands can come onto the waist. So you're going to lift your chest, stand nice and tall, a little bit of softness through the knees. And then as you exhale, let's start to fold forward. So I want you to hinge from the creases of your hips as you fold. So we're going to keep the spine nice and long as we fold forward. And then we can let the spine round as we hang between the legs. So keep the hands on the waist, keep lifting through the elbows, let the head be nice and heavy. Slide your shoulder blades down and press your feet strongly into the ground, and as if they're trying to push away from each other. You can keep as much softness through the knees as you need to here. Breathing again for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Soften the knees, tuck the chin, and as you inhale, slowly come all the way up. Good. You're going to toe heel the feet back together, and then slowly come down onto your bottom again. So making our way down to the floor, all the way down onto your back. So with the knees bent, we're going to let the knees drop out wide to the side, bringing the soles of the feet together. Let the hands rest on the belly. If this feels a bit too much, you can prop something underneath your knees so your knees can rest. We're just having a little bit of a stretch through the groins in the thighs. Let the eyes close here. And we're just going to take a few breaths to finish the practice. So with the eyes closed, soften through the face. Release any tension in your jaw. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Allow your tummy to completely let go. Let's just spend a few moments here just tuning in with the rhythm of our breath. So noticing the natural flow of your breath. We're not trying to change or manipulate the breath in any way now. Just allowing the breath to settle into a nice, easy, effortless rhythm. Noticing the movement of your breath in your tummy, so feeling that underneath your hands. So allowing that breath to be low and full. And then slowly let the eyes blink open. Take the hands to the outside of the thighs and draw the knees together. And then bring the knees back into the chest, having a little squeeze and a hug. And then when you're ready, you can rock yourself back up to sitting. And hopefully that has helped you feel a little bit looser and a little bit freer in the lower body after your gym session or any other exercise or any other thing you've been doing in your life, and just feel better in your body.